Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome, world, to the Lee Michaels Show on thepowerofvoices.com. It's a Monday. Are you ready to talk about it? We're going to talk about it. Whatever that is, that's what we're going to talk about. Boy, I was listening to the Tammy's Take show. It comes on right before this show. And she had a Fireball on there with her today. It had her blood pressure up. Good morning, Carol. How are you?
Oh, I'm good.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Wrong mic. There you go. Now talk to me.
I'm good.
You're good.
Yes, I'm very good.
Why did you change your voice like that?
Oh, because I get tired of people when they meet me in person. They go, I know that voice. I know who you are.
Well, that's your identity. That's a good thing.
Yeah, but a lot of people, I don't identify them on the radio with their voices.
Really? That's the way most people... I've been in a grocery store or out in public, and I'm talking to someone and say, I know who you are, because they recognize your voice. So that's a good thing.
I don't get it that way. Like a long time ago with
You wait. You will.
Simpsons. People ask me, are you the one that plays the teacher?
Really?
Yeah, but it's funny. I was offered to do a voice on there.
No kidding.
Years ago when it first started. Yeah, because a friend of mine had connections with them.
You should do some voiceover stuff. I mean, it's a lot of money in cartoons or animation, character voices.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
But now they use real famous people, not like the greedy don't have enough already.
Well, that's because they got good agents. They get out there.
No, they've taken jobs from people that's what they did for a living.
You want me to be your agent?
It's like, who
I
was
can
saying,
hook you up.
somebody yesterday,
She's not paying
my
attention to
client,
me.
she was talking about everything's a reality show. She said that's how ignorant a lot of people are.
Carol,
What?
you want me to be your agent so I can hook you up? See,
Go ahead. You can be my agent.
Okay, cool. That's right. Lee Michaels Media is now representing Carol for character voices. So if anyone out there is getting ready to do some animation, you need a good character voice, for sunflower or a fish, anything like that.
My clothes came off my microphone.
You lost your mic condom.
No, yeah, that's what I just said. My clothes came off. Did you see that? Would you let your kid go on a water slide I think it was, 18 stories?
That's pretty high.
Well, it's the biggest one in the
180
world.
feet.
Let me see how big it was. But this little 10-year-old kid went on it. They haven't really said how he died yet unless they put it up. But turned out he was some state legislator's son.
Really?
Caleb Thomas Schwab. Republican Scott Schwab.
Okay.
And this slide, I mean, I don't think I'd want my kid on it because you seen the one a couple of weeks ago where a guy was on, and maybe it was the same one, I don't know, but when he hit the corner to turn, it made him fly off.
Really?
Yes, it flew him off. And
He wasn't strapped in or with the bar
no, it's
across
a
him?
slide. It's a water slide.
Oh.
They make
Boy.
everything so.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
This one is the largest in the world, and this little boy got killed. I think it was yesterday.
Wow.
And I thought, wow, why would you even want to let
So
your
he
kid
came up out of the bowl.
Well, I don't know if
thing.
he came out. I know a man about 2 weeks ago was on it, and it was actually on a video where it showed him fly over. And I
Wow.
don't remember if he died from it or if he survived, but
That's
I have
crazy.
to look. But I felt bad for the little kid.
Yeah.
I just think that's too much. A lot of these roller coasters and that they're doing, there's too many things happening.
It is. And when those type of things happen and they don't happen that often, it makes you wonder, was it a user that the user itself, the person who had the accident, did they do something different or wrong? Or just what? It's hard
Well, actually,
to tell.
this company is going to be sued.
Well, yeah, that's generally
I'm
what
reading
happens.
where the slide required 2 to 3 riders to be strapped in a raft with a total weight between 400 and 500 pounds. So even if it was 3 little kids, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
It drops 168 feet, 7-inch structure. It's a massive hill. It's like a hill they're on.
Right.
It's a 50-foot drop
Wow.
for the ultimate water slide. But I don't even know if he was on it alone.
Do you go on those scary rides?
No.
Roller coaster or nothing, huh?
I don't have to prove nothing.
How about a Ferris wheel?
No.
You don't do anything, huh?
Well, I used to, but I have Meniere disease, which is a vertigo,
Yeah.
because I had a lot of ear problems, and because of that,
How about a bump
I
car?
a what?
Bump
A lot of
car?
things I can't go on because of the vertigo problem.
Mm. No
You know,
bumping, huh?
yeah, if you have kids that have had ear problems a lot when they're younger or even older, he thinks he's being funny, you guys. I just talk over him and pretend I don't
Yeah, you
hear him.
ignore me. I have great lines, and you just go, whatever.
This thing
It's
was
like,
higher than Niagara Falls,
wow. Yeah, 18 stories is usually about 10
and
foot
it
per
goes 50
story.
miles per hour.
That's not that fast.
It
50
is when you're
miles.
just sitting on your own butt now.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you could lose all the skin on your butt without the water. Be a skinny butt. Skinless
Yeah,
butt.
but it's funny how little kids like doing this. I know my
Yeah.
granddaughter Rain does.
Yeah, they like that thrill, you know?
It's not a thrill to me.
Me either. I can do without that one.
I've had people say when I was younger, if you go on that, I'll bet you that you don't, I bet you scream. And I go, I don't have to prove nothing. I don't think I've ever liked those rides.
I think I've been on a couple of roller coasters. When I was a kid, I went on one of those wooden ones back in the day. And then I went to, what's the one? Is it Magic Mountain that's north of here, of LA?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went on that one up there once. And I don't think I've done any of those scary rides at Disneyland. I've never been to Disney World. Now, I lived in Florida and never went up there to check that out.
I'm sure a lot of people aren't going there now with those little alligators
Yeah.
to find out that all this time they knew about them and
Yeah.
they actually came right into the park.
Exactly. They knew about it. That's
You
a
know-
little crazy.
You know, it's funny, Lee. I found something I found very sad, but interesting about a little 8-year-old girl in Yemen.
Yeah.
She had to marry an older man,
8 years old?
8 years old. But
That's sick.
well, they do that in those countries. It
I
was
know.
they're poor and they'll sell their daughter basically. But I didn't realize when they were talking about it, they said the United States does this too, including in many parts of the world. They said including the United States. So I looked it up, and it said a lot of our states allow a girl to marry at 12.
Now I can't get with that.
They
I've got
say
two.
Virginia used to do it. I don't know if they do now if the girl's pregnant, but
Wow.
that's too young.
Yeah, it is. Way too young. I have two 8-year-old granddaughters and a 15-year-old granddaughter, and I can't imagine any of them talking about getting married. I'd be that grandfather that's sitting there at the front door with a shotgun. I would. I wouldn't let it happen. I would get in the face of my kids
in these
before
countries.
letting that
The
happen.
parent basically accepts the dowry.
No.
Now, to me,
I
that's a
wouldn't do it.
pedophile.
Yeah, that's sick. I couldn't let that happen. I just couldn't.
Well, they say in those countries, 90% of the girls are under 21, and they gave a big percentage on the ones from 8 years old to, I think it was 12.
That would I can't get with that.
I mean, he basically sexually killed that little girl,
That's nuts.
and he sat there and let her bleed to death. I mean, what kind of thrill do you get out of that? And he's not going to go to jail or nothing. Those people basically sold their child
Yeah.
because, they do dowries.
Yeah, I know that's part of the culture of some people in different countries, but to me, that's a child, and I can't wrap my brain around that whole idea of that something like that could possibly happen. I don't get that. I just don't. It makes no sense to me. I'm trying to figure out what that image is in the background here. Where is that coming from? Behind me. What you got there? Some breaking news?
Well, it's a little bit.
A little bit.
What is behind you?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure
Is
that
it a
out.
ghost?
It could be. Let me pan. What is
Well, I
that?
see a cup.
Oh, it's the damn camera. Okay. All right. Now it's gone. All right. I was losing my mind. I'm going, what is that? It was the tail end of the camera that looks the opposite direction. That's what that was. Okay. I'm good now. I thought I'd lost my mind or was seeing things. You know, the older you get, weird things happen to you. And then when you mention ghosts, I'm like, you know, being that you're an American Indian, I thought you'd maybe come in with some voodoo, dust or something, put a whammy on me.
That's Africans that do voodoo.
Yeah, I know. But don't the Indians have some things that they do?
Very superstitious.
Yeah.
Work
Very
a lot with herbs,
superstitious.
which is kind of weird because all these holistic doctors are coming up dead.
Really?
Yeah, you should read it. There was one real famous one the other day. I believe he was black. I can't think of his name, but everybody used him. But they're coming up dead, and they know somebody's killing a bunch of these guys. I think it's probably pharmaceutical because
Yeah.
they know they stand to not make the money with their greedy butts.
Exactly.
And a lot of natural products do work because
Yeah, they do.
I
They
know
were working
where-
before the pharmaceuticals got
where
in the
I
business.
come from, I never heard of people run into the hospital because they got poison ivy. You
Right.
just slap some wet mud on it.
Wet mud, huh?
Yeah.
And what is tobacco used for?
Tobacco can pull out a sting
Stings,
on
that's
a
right.
bumblebee.
That's right. My grandmother used to do that to me.
Yeah, that and even mud does that.
Wow.
But I noticed when I came out here, I'd see people, oh, I had to go to the hospital. I go, why? Well, I got some poison ivy on me. I go, why didn't you just put some mud on it? Because herbs do come,
Yeah.
herbs
From
do.
the earth.
Native Americans have used herbs for years.
Mhm. You believe in acupuncture? Have you ever
I
had
get
that?
acupuncture.
Do
I've
you
been
really?
doing it for years.
Yeah. Does it work?
It does.
Yeah.
It really does.
Does it hurt?
No, because I think the most part that hurts is maybe the cupping a little, because they do this cupping now. I think the swimmer Michael Phelps,
Yeah.
people noticed he had these big circled bruises on his back, I think it was, and his shoulder.
Yeah.
He had cupping done.
What's cupping?
Cupping is like a suction they do. They put it on something, because I get it, and you always get little circles, bruising, because when they pull it,
sucks the
well,
blood.
it helps relax your muscles. It takes pain away. A lot of people do it themselves, or you can buy cupping stuff, I think, online.
Really?
Somebody I know told me they
Have you ever had someone like do your feet because they say all the nerve endings come
I've
down your
had
feet?
needles, acupuncture put in my feet.
Feet, yeah. You
Well, that's where most of
get
your
good results?
pain. Acupuncture works. I went to Chinese. I went to a Jewish man for years, but he became too expensive. I love this Chinese guy downtown, but my insurance, he doesn't speak English.
No. By
So
design,
I've been
huh?
going to a Korean guy, and his father, I guess, is one of the most famous people for herbs. But the herbs he gave me, everywhere I'd go, I'd be pouring in sweat because it's taking the toxins out, and
Yeah.
it's kind of embarrassing. You're sitting in line, and everybody sees sweat pouring out of your neck and everywhere else on you. So
Hey,
I
you know
quit
what they say?
taking them.
They said, "Wow, she's hot."
No, they probably think I'm having hot flashes, which I've never had. But it was
You're
funny.
Not, you're not old enough for that.
No, I'm old enough. I went through the change of life. I started it at 40.
No.
But I
kidding.
never had hot flashes.
No?
No, my doctor said not everybody gets them. But with Koreans, where they're different than Chinese, like a Chinese person, when they put the electrical currents on you, they hook it to their thing. But with Koreans, they have you hold it while the shocking's going through.
Really?
It works, though.
Yeah.
I recommend acupuncture for anything and that you do. If you have some kind of injury,
So is
at least try it.
that like electric shock treatment?
No, a lot of them use a treatment where they add on. It's part of the treatment, and it's a thing where they put current through you.
They don't put a cap on your head, no?
No, we're not building Frankenstein. 'Cause
I'm just checking. I've never experienced it. So
oh,
I
you
don't know.
really should, because it can help get rid of stress.
Yeah.
I've did all that kind of stuff. I got hypnotized once.
I got a thing in my left shoulder here. I'm losing some, like right when I lift up like that, it's a little painful.
I would recommend acupuncture.
Yeah.
And a lot of insurance companies, they pay for it.
Okay.
You just got to get it approved. But it's not expensive if you go downtown.
I think it's just arthritis,
Yeah,
look
but
at my
it
age.
can help arthritis.
Yeah.
They're known for that.
I want to kick Arthur's ass because he's a mean dude.
Actually, one of my clients went to some lady, and I never heard of this, but
Mm-hmm.
it really helped her. She was going through some really bad stress, and then she hurt her back, and she went to her and she put something on that's really hot or something. I had never heard of this, but and she had really bad bruising from it. But she said she felt so good. But then she made her go home with some little tiny needles in her ear. I said, "Oh, I couldn't handle that now because I roll a lot and I might pull the needle out." Or
Yeah,
something.
right.
But she feels great. She
Do you-
feels 100% better.
Now, do you sleep on your back, your side, or your belly, or what? How do you sleep?
I sleep on my one side, and it's
just
bad
one
because
side?
I have a fractured shoulder on my right side, and that'll never go away all the way.
They say you should only sleep if you sleep on your side, sleep on your left because the way your stomach is configured, that you could have what do you call it? The acid could come back if you lay on your right side. So
I lay on my
on your right side,
right side.
yeah.
I moved to the left. The reason I'm on my right side is because I'm watching TV.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't sleep on my back, though.
No.
No, that's when
Put
people
the TV
snore.
on the ceiling, then you could just like look up.
Isn't that where your mirrors are?
No, I don't have mirrors. I used to back in the day, but no, don't do the mirrors anymore. See, you want to try to bring out the freaky stories.
No,
I see you.
no, I've seen a lot of interesting stuff this week. Remember what we did? Tell them what we did on Saturday.
And Saturday went out to Gladys Park in, I guess that's considered what, downtown
It's
L.A.?
people that live in California. It's Skid Row
Skid Row.
on
Okay.
6th and 7th and those streets.
Okay. And we were there to give out some books and some backpacks for the kids with school supplies in it, and clothing and food, and it was a big turnout. There was a motorcycle club there.
Well, weren't they there to kind of help out, like security?
Well, they did provide that, but they also brought some stuff that they gave away.
What was the name of that group? Because it was their thing, Operation Help the Homeless.
Yeah.
And
So-
he worked at Cedars. A lot of the people there were doctors that were
Oh,
helping
interesting.
out.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't pick that up.
Yeah,
but it
he
was a
said
good
that.
turnout, and you know what? That's something close and near to my heart because I want to see people in America off the streets. Many of them are veterans, and some are just falling on hard times. Some have mental conditions, and it's a shame because this is America, and it's just to me that's a black eye on America to have people living on the streets.
I think those people down there, I would say 80% of them had mental conditions.
Yeah.
I walked around and watched a little and looked at them, and it was really sad. It's not your regular homeless, and it's very sad for people to sit and think it's okay. It's not okay. We need
No.
mental institutions because they wouldn't be sitting downtown. Because I watched a lot of them, how they would talk to themselves, and some of them were like little children, and
Yeah, it's sad.
because
And-
remember the one lady, the gray-haired lady.
Yeah,
that-
she was just walking around had a, what do you call it, a house coat?
She had a house coat and house slippers.
Yeah, she was just walking
And she
around.
was very
just
clean. I don't think she lived in the street. She probably lived in that building that was attached,
across the street there, maybe.
or maybe somebody
yeah.
brought them down from shelters. Because remember the Latin family, they didn't live on that street.
Right. But it was pretty
Intense.
sad, but at
Very
the same
sad.
time, heartwarming to see people come out and help out and give something to people who are less fortunate. And if I had, one of the things that I would like to do is maybe start a nonprofit organization and get some grants to dedicate it to the homeless. I don't think you could ever have too many organizations helping out in that respect. I'd like to have, I don't know, thousands of these mobile bathrooms and laundry mats on wheels that go around, and where people that are homeless can come in and take
Well,
showers?
I feel people like these ones, we need mental
Well,
institutions.
that too,
These
definitely.
people were
There's so
not
many levels
those
of
kind of
need.
homeless. These
Yeah,
people were, I would say, majority of them
yeah,
had mental issues if they weren't bipolar or schizo,
yeah,
and it was very sad. Don't I mean just watching them, and it was very sad, and it was cute how they really wanted something, a book.
yeah.
And I mean, there wasn't many
Anything.
children, but there was one little boy that grabbed my attention, and he just stood there the whole time against the tree. And I walked up to him. I said, "Don't you want to get something to eat or go get one of those bags?" He said, "No, I start school on Monday. I don't have a backpack or pencils." He didn't have anything, and his sister didn't. And it was great that Josefa, at the last minute, she grabbed some backpacks because
Yeah,
there were a few kids that they
that
all
showed up.
needed them that were there. I
Yeah,
mean, adults wanted them, but I think they were more for children.
yeah, because they were filled with school supplies, so they were very appropriate
So
for
these little
children.
selfish kids that you cried because you want a Louis Vuitton backpack or you
Yeah.
want this, they need a wake up call. Take
Hmm.
them downtown and let them see how some kids have to live. Because
Exactly.
I know I catch myself complaining that I don't make the money I used to make and I can't buy this. But good thing about me, I've always liked other people's clothes. I'm
Hmm.
one of these people you can give me a hand me down and I get excited
Yeah.
versus going into a store. But you really realize how selfish we can be because long as you have a roof over your head and some water, these
Yeah.
people don't even have water supplies.
That's crazy.
Because
You
if you
know?
look, did you see water fountains anywhere or water
No.
trucks? So
No.
what do they do for water?
Yeah, there's one lady that had one of those 5-gallon, plastic jugs. She was looking for water. So the basic essentials in life are so important. And as humans, 70% of our bodies are made up of water. And if you can't consume the right amount of water on a daily basis, you're going to dehydrate. So that brings on another health issue or issues. So basic essentials, water, to be able to keep your body clean, good hygiene, so toothpaste, toothbrushes, a brush and comb, some a washcloth, some towels, the opportunity to take a shower or bath. These are just essentials that we as humans need in addition to food.
Well, it's funny, Lee, my granddaughter, and she told me to tell everybody to do this. If you have like an old purse in your
Hmm.
closet or you have some type of bag, she said she goes to the dollar store and other kids do this and they buy a toothbrush for $1 and you can get 4 toothbrushes at a dollar store. You get toothpaste,
Hmm.
mouthwash, you can spend $10 and walk out with stuff to give these
A
people.
lot of stuff, sure.
And I think it'd be nice to see schools do this, to have the kids all come in and do that. I mean, what is $10 in an old purse or bag you have laying
Exactly.
around with
Exactly.
anybody? I mean, because we even seen people pull up in a van and they had lunch bags, the little brown ones,
Hmm.
and they had it filled with the back and they were handing out food to them. And
That's great.
because when you really watch this, I mean, we're talking Skid Row where they just literally live
I was
on the streets.
I was amazed as the amount of tents that you would use to go camping just on the sidewalks. You know,
And they weren't
blocks
even
of 'em.
tents if you really looked at
well,
them. They
some
were
of them were
sheets
tarps
and
and yeah,
whatever they
can make.
could
Yeah,
put up. And
yeah,
there was a few young ones.
yeah.
I mean, they needed dental and just, it was sad.
You know,
It made me, and it was my birthday, remember? And
Yeah,
people
that's
asked
right.
me what, I said, I'm going to go downtown with them for the homeless.
that's great. You're a good person. I have to give it to you.
No, it was just something because sometimes we need that awakening when we
Yeah.
start feeling sorry for ourselves. Because I'm one to admit, I get where I feel sorry for myself at times. So going
Mm-hmm.
down and seeing that, and I'm saying, what am I feeling sorry for myself for?
Exactly.
I'm not laying on the ground on some dirty pillow or have to dress in front of people. I seen one lady when we were driving. I don't think you've seen her, but she had her clothes off and she was dressing herself.
Oh no, I didn't see that. Oh,
And
that's a shame.
and I thought about it when the one with the drug, all she wanted was some water.
Yeah,
Can you fill this water? And it dawned on me, where do they drink from?
yeah. Where did it go to the bathroom?
And the worst thing is to go down there and plug your nose. You got to just inhale that piss, as I call it,
Yeah,
and tell
smell of urine.
yourself, I mean, we left there, and I thought it was on me. I could still
Yeah,
smell
it's
it, but
pretty
I
thick.
wasn't going to plug my nose and put my
Hmm.
hands up on my face because I already felt bad enough for these people, and
Yeah.
why make them feel any worse?
So wherever you live, whatever city, state you live in, or country, because we can be heard around the world, do something for a homeless person. Don't turn your nose up at them because they're going through a hard time, and some of it is self-inflicted. Some is they lost their homes in the downturn of the economy. It could be any number of things, but they're out there on the streets in America and around the world, and it won't hurt you to help someone who is less fortunate. Don't look down your nose at them. Could be you one day.
Well, I suggest people bring their children down there and let them help and really see
Yeah,
what life's about.
that's
Don't
true.
don't think this can't happen to you.
Yep.
It can happen to anybody. You can have all the money in the world and next day have nothing. I mean, a lot of people jump off buildings when that happens
Yeah,
and commit suicide, but I've always told people you could be wealthy one day and have nothing the next day.
that's
So
true.
I think little kids and young people should be aware of this. When you sit and you complain because you want an iPhone, I should have an iPhone. Why do I have to have a Metro phone? It's like, wake up.
You got a phone.
Wake up, because this is nothing compared to what's going on in Syria and other countries. They even got it worse. They're
Yeah.
running and trying to get away like the little kids in the Olympics. Read their story. Read that how those two young girls that
Hmm.
are swimming, what they went through. They pulled that boat to safely swimming, and I think it was for how many miles? Did you
I didn't.
read that?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh,
That
they're
was,
in the Olympics, these two girls.
that's
And
wonderful.
I know one of them is, and people gave them a standing ovation when they walked out because these are kids that had a normal life just like our kids, but now they have war there and they're running from it. And like the one girl, she just did an interview which is online, and she's telling you what she had to run from, how she had a home too, and they had to run to save themselves. And she was going to be on their Olympic team, but to me, in a way, they still are though, because they're refugees. They have a team made up of them.
Hmm. I have not had a chance to see any of the Olympics yet. I was here on the
Oh,
weekend
it's amazing.
rebuilding our one of our computers failed, so I had to rebuild it so that we could be on the air today. Otherwise, we wouldn't be on the air right now if I sat around and watched the Olympics. But I got to tell you, I'm not really excited about it because I don't know why. This particular Olympics, I'm just not engaged. But I understand there've been some Americans that have done quite well.
Our female gymnastic team will blow your mind. I
Yeah,
don't know how that little 4'5" girl or something, how she jumps that high up.
amazing.
They said nobody in their life have ever seen.
Yeah,
I enjoy it because there's a woman in there, I think she's 30 something. And to watch her do the vault blew my mind. I think I've enjoyed this one better than any of them, especially because of that team of, I think they're refugees. And
hmm,
it's just, it's great. And to watch the swimmers, to watch our team win the relay last night, and to watch the happiness in their face.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, it was great. And a lot of the gymnastics yesterday, that wasn't for competition. That was to qualify.
Okay,
So
yeah.
all those, whatever scores they got, they erased them. But I didn't understand. Anybody that's seen it will tell you they would come up with taking a point off here or 2 points, but they didn't tell you why.
Yeah, I gotta watch it. I'm gonna check it out maybe today.
Read the
Well,
story about those little Syrians, the girl from
yeah,
Syria that was on a boat and there was too many people on it and it started to stop, or something happened where her and the other girl that were swimmers got off, and I believe they pulled that boat to the shore. They did something to save the people.
wow, that's wonderful. The ability to be able to swim, I'm sure,
Oh,
helped them
they've
out
got
tremendously.
her on news. You have to listen to this little girl.
Yeah,
When
I'll check it out.
I just think it's amazing.
Now this morning, Delta Airlines had to shut down all of their flights all over the country because of computer failure, and I'm not sure if it's back up now or not. Just checking the breaking news here now to see what's going on with that. Um, but can you imagine Delta Airlines not being able to fly any flights, that in itself would be a major impact on the air travel around the world.
That happened to me in London, but it was all shut down.
Mm.
I was strapped for 2 days. I was stuck there, but I went to a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
But I sat on a plane, I think, for 7 hours.
Mm. In Norfolk, Virginia, the naval shipyard over in Portsmouth, actually, evacuated after threats found in a restroom, and that's scary because that Portsmouth shipyard over there is where they repair Navy ships. There's a big naval hospital over there as well. That's my hometown to all my Tidewater friends. Hampton Roads, Tidewater, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Newport News, Hampton, Chesapeake, the Six City area. I miss my hometown. I had to leave there, Carol, because there was no money there in radio. They were still paying minimum wage, and if you were making $150 a week, you were probably doing well. So I had to
But
go.
was the cost of living cheaper?
It was, but when you aspire to grow and do better, I left there and went to St. Louis back in 1973, and I haven't worked in radio in Norfolk since then. But I love that town. I miss the crabs and the fishing, crabbing, hanging out on the Chesapeake Bay and the Atlantic Ocean, going down to Virginia Beach, over to Hampton, Newport News, Suffolk, going up the Eastern Shore. Up on the Eastern Shore, there's a bridge tunnel that's 17 and a half miles. It goes from the peak of Virginia Beach over to Cape Charles. And it's 17 and a half miles. Most of it is bridge. You go under a tunnel. I think it's 2 times in that 17 and a half miles. But I remember as a kid, before they built that bridge tunnel, you used to take a ferry. You drive your car on it, and that would take you over to Cape Charles, and you unload from the ferry and then drive up, what was that, 17 or 13? Take you north, going up to through Maryland and Delaware and New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, up through New York, etc. But I remember those days when there was a ferry, and it used to be a rocky ride sometimes when the ocean, and it was right at the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay and the Atlantic Ocean. So you could get some rough rides over there, and that was an experience. It's amazing the technology and how times have changed, and things have grown over the years. Maybe one day we'll be doing time travel. You ready for that, Carol?
Oh, I'll be dead by then. I
never know.
Pretty soon I'll be in the waiting room.
You walk into like a phone booth and they push a couple of buttons and you end up in London in like 30 seconds. Wouldn't that be cool?
Well, you could do virtual reality and
Yeah.
make yourself feel like you're there. I don't like London. That was the worst place to say to me.
Yeah, I've never had any
I
desire to
just
go
don't
there.
like it there. It's boring, and I don't drink.
Mm.
I used to cry when I have to work over there.
I got to do my DNA family tree thing, but I got a feeling that I've got some Irish or some English blood in my family tree, and I've never had a desire to go there, but I think I do. Sometimes I feel a little African, a little Italian, and I don't know, American Indian.
You probably have it in you.
Yeah, probably. I know I get approached by people from India and Pakistan. They think I'm from the Middle East, and they come up in their native tongue, and I'm going, huh? What? What you talking about? What you talking about, Willis? So, yeah, I remember when I lived in New York back in the 70s, and I'm standing at a corner waiting to cross the street, waiting for the light to change. And invariably, people from foreign countries would come up to me and start talking. And I don't know, I guess they think I'm from wherever they're from. Many times it was Africans and people from the Middle East and the Asian Rim, India and places like that. But it's interesting, you know. Do you ever get American Indians coming up to you,
I
speaking
get
in their native
people.
tongue?
No, because your younger ones don't really speak the language.
Yeah.
I get people come up and ask, "Are you Indian?" I
Yeah.
get that all the time. Are you a
Mhm.
real Indian? And it's funny because I'm not all Indian, but I'm a
What's your
registered
features?
Native American.
Yeah,
So
your features are very pronounced and looking like an Indian. I mean, and that's not a negative thing at all. But you have the cheekbones and
no,
all
it
that.
isn't because now these women pay a fortune to have high
Mm-hmm.
cheekbones and fuller lips and
Yep.
maybe almond eyes. And
Mm-hmm.
so, hey, one time I didn't like it. I used to want one of those ski jump noses.
Ski jump.
Yeah, the one that, kind of turned up. I used to sit in school and lay on my nose, hoping that. Actually, I really thought it would go up if I laid on it. So I would sit in
Really?
school and just push on it.
No, are you kidding me?
No, I really thought because they made me not think it was good to have my nose.
Hmm. Isn't that crazy?
And
how
I used
society,
to blow on my face to make it where it would be fuller. Because they made you
Come on.
feel like everything
Carol, you got to let me turn the camera on when you
everything
do
I
those
had
things.
wasn't what you want.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's funny because now I laugh because I've had people say, "Oh, she has fake cheeks," and they'll say something. Who did you? I had a doctor once ask me. He was somebody that worked with Michael Jackson, and he said,
Mm-hmm.
"Who did your cheeks?" I said, "Now you're a plastic surgeon. You know the real deal and the ones that aren't."
Right.
He said, "Well, let me say I did it."
Say you're gonna pay me? Give me some royalties on that one, buddy. Don't let them use you like that. You know.
Yeah, because it's good to have cheeks now. People that don't have them, they drop faster.
Hmm. Interesting. Are you talking about in the face or in the butt?
The face.
Cheeks. Okay. All right. I'm just checking.
I was talking to a friend of mine that's a doctor, and he's did numerous surgeries on these young people that are putting silicone in their asses.
Hmm.
They've had to remove some legs. So
Wow.
he goes, it's a
wouldn't-
very
I can't
dangerous
imagine.
thing.
Yeah, I can't
And
imagine.
the fat
that.
goes away, so that's why Kim Kardashian has to do it all the time. And that, what's the other one, Nicki Minaj? Well, they're
Yeah.
all doing it now. Everywhere you go. I was behind a woman, was it yesterday in line, and there was no way this was her butt. And I just kept looking at it, and I thought, why can't you be happy with, why do you want something that large? If it's
Fashion.
natural and it's not fashionable to me.
Me.
I
I like
like
natural.
J-Lo's ass.
You
I
think
think-
hers is natural?
I know hers is.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely hers is.
Have you touched it?
No, I have people that worked with her for
okay.
years when she was a dancer.
Yeah. Yeah. Her body build really hasn't changed.
Jessica Biel, that's married to Justin Timberlake, hers is real.
Hers is real.
You can create and work on it because I used to do a lot of squats
Mm-hmm.
in the but I don't do all that now.
No. Your squatting days are over.
They've been over.
So listen, we gotta go to. I want to go to an authentic Indian powwow. The whole ritual.
Well, you
with-
could
with
fly
a
to
fire-
Montana. They're having one right now at Rocky Boy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because my kids' reservation's there.
Okay.
And I
How
seen
long does
it.
that go on for? Is it just like a one day?
I don't
or
know. I'd
several-
have to look it up. Look
Yeah,
at
check it
somebody
out.
that's on my page.
I want to experience that. I think that would be fun.
Yeah, and you would be okay there.
Yeah. Go there
It's
and
by Great Falls. They're not prejudiced there.
well, even if they are, I just want to
Oh,
experience.
you don't
the
want to
thing.
be around rednecks. It's
No.
totally different type of prejudice.
Well, now, American Indians, how do they feel about people of color, Latinos, blacks, and what have you?
Well, a lot of Native Latins are Indian.
Well, yeah,
There's
true.
a tribe. I used to have a nanny for my son, and she was Oaxacan, and she was Indian. They're Indian.
Mm-hmm.
They don't feel anything. I've never seen racism around Native Americans against white people, anybody.
Would you say that? And maybe you don't know the.
I mean, we
answer to
get
this.
tired of hearing people say, this is their country and they should speak our our language, English. That bothers me because that's not the true language.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't have a problem with people that speak Spanish or people that speak Italian. You know, you
Or
really shouldn't have a problem. I myself do feel if their kids are going to go to school here and if they want English to be the language of America, but don't say it's the true language because it's not.
exactly.
But if that's the language you want spoken, then I don't feel you should have separate schools for these kids. They should have to learn it, and their parents should learn it right with them.
Hmm.
Because, you know, it's like I told my granddaughter because she's half Mexican. And I tell her, you need to learn it now. And she is learning. She's teaching herself. She's very
That's
smart.
good.
Because I told her, everywhere you go, if you can speak 2 languages,
Yeah. You
that's
got
a
the
good
leg up.
language to know because it's becoming the majority in this country.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
isn't
I
just
agree.
Asians.
Yeah.
And when you go into a bank, you're going to see half your tellers or more can speak both languages.
Mm-hmm.
If you go into a grocery store, you're going to see that. So
Yeah.
it's good to make your child know both languages because
Mm-hmm.
every country I've went to, maybe not London so much, unless they're not from there, born there, they speak 5 languages. People, we're the only country I know that it isn't mandatory. They
Right.
speak all these languages.
Well, we teach various languages in school, but most people don't. You know, I took it in high school. I took Spanish.
They teach you
And
basics.
yeah, and I can't remember much of it. You know, and yeah, I did it because I needed an extra credit, an elective, as they called them back in those days. So, you know, that was one of the things that I took along with wood shop and metal shop and electronics. And, you know, I even took a sewing class. You know, I made some clothes and made a shirt and a vest. And did I make pants? I don't think I made pants. But as a part of the special class, there was sewing, cooking. What else was in there? And just
Mechanics.
well, I did. I didn't do it automotive. I did metal shop, wood shop, and electronics, and then Spanish. These were extra credit kind of classes, and you know, I think that it helped me out to become the person that I am today because you know when I'm dealing with electronics, well, I know a lot about electronics.
See, they don't get that now, though,
No.
because they don't give the schools no money. They don't get
Yeah.
art.
Yeah,
They don't get singing. They get nothing. They don't
Yeah.
get cooking classes and sewing.
that's crazy.
But now you can get into a lot of these charter schools, but for some people, they avoid that. And I don't understand it because they have schools where it's a conversion school
Mm-hmm.
where if the child starts in kindergarten, you can pick the other language you want them to learn. And they do learn it because
Yeah.
that's what they learn to speak there.
Sure.
So they do come out of there. And when they go on to high school, they go ahead and say they're taking Japanese. They take so they do become very fluent in it. But a lot of schools don't. A lot of cities don't offer that. I know Culver City has a school that does.
See, I'm into multiple languages. I think are important, but I think it's not wrong for someone who wants to maintain their native language, whether it's Spanish, whether it's Indian tribal language, Japanese, Chinese. I don't, you know, that doesn't offend me or bother me whatsoever because that's a part of who you are. It's your culture. People from Africa, if you want to continue to speak in your own native tongue, then I don't have a problem with that. As long as you can communicate with everyone else, then that's fine. I don't have a problem with that at all.
See, that it doesn't bother me, but I still feel that they should learn the language because you can't pay for separate schools.
No.
And that does happen where a lot of times, actually, I went to a beauty school that was funded by the government. When I came here, I got caught doing hair without a license. And I couldn't stay in there because everybody spoke Spanish. They taught it in it. And I felt that was kind of wrong because I worked too and paid taxes. And
Right.
a lot of these people, I don't know how they got in there, but that was the language that was spoken. And it was supported by the government. So I do have problems with that sometimes.
424-227-9461 is our number. It's the Lee Michaels Show with Lee and Carol. We're talking about just stuff, anything, life stuff, experiences, talking about different languages and whether it's okay or not to speak in your own native tongue. I don't have a problem with it. And I have a problem with people trying to force people to do English only. I don't think that's necessary. And I think
I don't think you should force them, but I think when the kids go to school, it shouldn't just be where it's strictly their language. They have to learn English.
Yeah.
I just feel if you're going to go to school, you can't have separate schools or have it where it's mainly all Spanish or a language for them.
No, that's not.
Like the Asians, they have their own separate schools on Saturdays where the child goes to school on a Saturday to keep where they really know their language.
Right. Well, I think native languages are important to maintain because it's a part of your heritage. And as time goes on, if you don't maintain that, then that heritage gets lost. So just looking in the future, if I was Cherokee and I knew how to speak the native Cherokee language, I don't think you should not speak it. I think you should.
I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah.
I meant when you're with your family or that.
Right.
But when you go to school, you do need to know English.
Well, yeah, that's to be able to communicate with the rest of the country.
Because the kid that lives with me
Sure.
is Chinese, and he struggles.
Really?
And he's been here so long, it's like by now you should speak it fluently, but he struggles with it.
What does he do for a living? Is he in school still?
He goes to school.
Oh, okay. Well,
His parents are very wealthy.
he'll get better with it. It's all
Been
about
here
practice.
years.
Yeah, but does he hang out with a lot of Chinese
He doesn't
people?
go out because his parents are very strict. He's here to learn.
Okay.
He doesn't even date.
Well, that's good. It keeps him out of trouble. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. 424-227-9461. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and straight from our website at thepowerofvoices.com. We're live Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to noon, and that's Pacific time. So join us and share this broadcast with whoever follows you, okay? Thank you.
Something for everyone is found right here on thepowerofvoices.com.
I'm Nancy Renee.
And I'm Adrienne Shapiro.
We're the founders of Access Advocacy, a nonprofit for the benefit of people with sickle cell disease.
We provide education and support for families, caregivers, and the medical community.
Join us every Tuesday at noon Pacific time on thepowerofvoices.com.
We'll talk about current issues, what's on the horizon for treatment, and how to help families living with chronic diseases. And we look forward to you joining us on Tuesdays at noon Pacific on thepowerofvoices.com.
Attention Las Vegas residents. Olympic Cleaning Services is the company for all your green cleaning needs. Call us now, 866-984-7444. Olympic Cleaning Services specializes in residential, commercial, construction, move-in, move-out, carpet cleaning, auto detailing, and we also provide emergency services when you need it. Call us now, 866-984-7444. For all first-time customers, you'll receive 15% off. Call us now, 866-984-7444, or go to OlympicCleaningservices.com. Go green today.
Isn't it time to put a beautiful video on your website that clearly explains your products and services? Yes, it is. You're missing out on letting potential customers see for themselves all the great things you can offer them. Let CCM make a commercial or promotional video to showcase your business. We have specials going on now for first-time customers, and we can make videos for all budgets. Call 626-344-8314. That's 626-344-8314. 626-344-8314. Time to get with the program. Make a commercial or promo video for your business today. Call 626-344-8314.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've messed up your daughter's haircut. Do you A, get spiritual?
Mom, where's the mirror?
Beauty is within.
Oh.
B. Find the positives.
Less time blow drying, more time texting?
Or C. Show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have to.
Twinsies!
I kinda love it. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on adoption, visit adoptuskids.org. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Fun facts, sassy politics, and interesting solutions for life. You'll find it right here on thepowerofvoices.com.
Welcome back to the Lee Michaels Show on thepowerofvoices.com. You can go to our website and get a lot of great information about the other shows that are broadcast on this network. And if you'd like to have a show of your own, you can do that as well. Just go to our contact us form or book a show, and someone will get back to you and tell you how you can have your very own show. And it can originate from your home, your office, anywhere in the world. As long as you have a high-speed internet connection, we can hook you up. And you can have your very own show, and you can talk about whatever you want to talk about, whether it's politics or just something interesting that you have that you want to talk about. It's not a problem. That's how we got Carol up in here. She was walking down the street talking to herself one day. I said, hey, you want to come in and talk with me on the radio? She said, yeah, I'll do it.
Don't be imitating my voice now.
That was pretty good, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, I can do yours, too.
Yeah, you can get down there. I'm impressed. How low can you go?
I do that, though, when somebody calls and I don't want to talk. Hello. Oh, sir, would you like, we want to talk to you about the solar system. I go, I'm not in right now. And I'll go, I'm not in. And then it's like, what did I just say?
Yeah. I love the telemarketing people. They call up and trying to sell you something. When lately they've been calling me like at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm going, where are you? Well, I'm in Philadelphia. Well, I'm not. I'm still in bed. Well, where are you? I'm on the West Coast, man. Don't call me at this time of the morning trying to sell me something. No, I'm not interested. Take me off your damn list. I love the ones, though, when they call up and they want to put a free sign in your yard for a security system. And I say, son, I live on the 32nd floor in a high-rise complex. I don't have a yard, so your sign won't do you any good on my balcony. Okay, maybe the birds might see it, but that's it. So take me off your list, please. I don't have a yard for your sign. I appreciate it, but no, thank you.
You know where people got to be careful, too, because they'll come in, like I've been getting this from Wells Fargo, that they're seeing signs of somebody trying to pull fraud. Go ahead and go into your online on your bank, on their thing.
Right, yeah.
And it's
don't do that.
They're not good. That's not Wells Fargo. They would never tell you to do that.
They'll never call you and tell you to do that.
No. Or pretend they're a realtor or mortgage company and they want to refinance. Because I had this one happen last week, and he started talking to me, and it's at a 2% and blah, blah, this and that. I'm going to put someone else on the phone. The first thing the guy said is, oh, I need your Social Security number. Mm-hmm. I said, I'm not giving you my Social Security number. I'll tell you what, email me your information.
Right.
And I'll have this broker look at it from there. My brother-in-law's a big broker, and I never got that email.
Of course not. It's a scam.
But see, a lot of people will believe them.
Yeah, they sound pretty official. Yeah, I got a call from the Internal Revenue from some guy that couldn't speak English, and he's asking me all. Says, you know, your internal, you owe money, and I'm here to help you to take care of it. I went, listen, dude. I said, what income tax period are you talking about? From 2010 to now. I said, I don't owe you jack. I said, can you hold on a second? I put him on hold. When I came back, he was gone. So, yeah, there are all kind of scams out there, folks. So be careful, especially to the seniors. They are looking for you because they think that they can, talk you into stuff. And don't do it. Just hang up on them. Say, I'm not interested. Don't call me anymore. Take me off your list. Please. Thank you. Goodbye.
They'll call again, though.
Yeah, they'll call
What
on
I
a
do is
different number.
I call them back because I go, well, let me call you back. And they'll answer. And I'll go, if it's the IRS, they're going to give you a number.
Yeah.
And then when I go, I'm going to report you, click, and all of a sudden the phones no longer exists. It's disconnected.
Yep. And they have these internet numbers, through Skype and other services where they can buy these numbers for little or nothing. So you never know where they're located. They could be in a foreign country. They could be down the street. They could be anywhere. And they can get a number for Chicago, but they could actually be in Indonesia. You don't know. So be careful. There are all kind of scams out there on the phone and on the internet. If you get an email with a file in it saying, this is the file that you need that we talked about on the phone, you go, I haven't talked to anyone about anything. And you don't need to send me. And usually these files are in a zip, in a compressed format. Then you have to click on that, and then inside of that zip is an executable application. It's a program. Once you click on that, it'll start something, and you may, well, nothing happened. Well, yeah, it did. In the background, running on your computer, it's now gathering information, any kind of personal information you might have on your computer, or it's simply a Trojan horse, which means it now has control of your computer, and it can start sending out emails from you, and you don't know anything about it, to other people, thousands of people, or take control of your computer to send other applications, bootleg applications, and what have you. So don't click on any files that are emailed to you unless you're expecting something from someone. So if you get an email from Lee Michaels and we haven't talked and you're not expecting anything from me, call me and say, Lee, did you send me something with a file in it? And if I say no, don't click on that, because my email at that point probably has been compromised or hijacked without my knowledge.
And they'll hack in and send something really filthy and make it look like you did it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Send you to, these porn sites.
This one was filthy last week.
Oh, really?
But the person caught it. No, they used her name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's really funny. I was seeing this one where this woman married this guy, and all of a sudden, or they were dating. Mm-hmm. Guys are showing up at her door and trying to rape her.
What?
She finds out that his old girlfriend had put on a site that pretended she was her, and that just come over and then go into trying to rape her. That's that I like this. And it wasn't her. It was the old girlfriend. My client goes, well, that was on Law and Order. I said, well, that's sad because somebody paid attention to that. And some jealous woman copied it and did this to this woman.
Amazing.
Said it was horrible.
That's sick. So people, be real careful about conversations you have, emails, text messages. Even they're getting crazy in the text messaging world. Giving you a text with a link, and it takes you to a website, and it looks official, sounds official. And some of these multi-level marketing, direct marketing as they call them now, and it's nothing more than these, multi-level marketing campaigns. Carol brings me in, and then I'm in her downline, and, all that kind of stuff. I've never participated in any of those kind of things, because unless you're at the top of that tree, you're probably not going to make any money. And then who's got time And because of the negative, feedback that we've all heard about these multi-level campaigns, most people invest into it and they don't get anything out of it. You got to be a real hustler to make that thing work. You got to put all your time into it. And I just don't have time for anything like that. Don't want to. Maybe it's okay for some people, and that's fine. But it's not made for me, because I don't want to sit on the phone and try to sell something to someone that they don't need. Have you ever done those things? Multi-level marketing things?
For a living?
Yeah, well, just to try to make it work. Have you ever
No.
tried it? No?
Uh-uh.
Yeah. I know a few people. There's a coffee thing that's out there. What's that one called? I can't remember now. But it's a coffee thing. You're selling coffee to people. And, I can't do it. Don't have time. Not interested. I drink coffee, but not to the degree that I want to invest in something like that. I got a call the other day. This guy, is an automated thing, and I listened to the whole thing just to see what it's all about, because I try to stay on top of the latest stuff. Then they give you a number to call, and there's a second level of 20 or 30 minutes of sell. And the entry level was $1,000, and it was like $3,500, $6,500, and then $12,000, I think it was. So you buy in at that level, and then whatever they're selling, you get after the first one, whatever it is they're selling, you get a portion of that, and then every time after that, you get 100%. So if somebody buys a $3,500 package, you get 100% of that. So it's one of those things that sounds too good to be true. And I don't know. I just, that's a significant amount of money to put into something that you don't know if it's going to work for sure. And well, you don't have to do anything. It's all automated, and all you have to do is bring people to this number, and they listen to it, and 1 out of 20 people will buy, and you could make $3,500 a week if you only sell one. And I mean, it all sounds good, but does it really work? And how many people do they get to come in at 1,000 or 3,500 or 6,500?
The only one that makes the money is the first ones that get
Exactly.
Because it's
Exactly.
a pyramid.
The starters. Yeah, it is. So be careful with those things, folks. Don't put your last money into something like that. If you can't afford to lose whatever the price tag is to start up, then don't do it. If it changes your life, if this is the last $3,500 you got in the bank, don't do it. Even if it was a legitimate opportunity, I would say don't do it if that's all you got. Why would you want to put yourself out on a diving board like that? You don't know how deep the water is. You're just going to jump in. Don't do it. Don't do it. So be very careful. There's all kind of Ponzi schemes and these multi-level marketing things out there. And I know some people have done very well. Very well. I know some people in the music business that transferred into these multi-level marketing things. They've done quite well, making a lot of money. But it's not made for everybody. It's hard to make that transition from the real world into the home-based business. There's a number of home-based businesses that are very lucrative and that are real, that are not a part of these multi-level marketing or direct marketing campaigns. Some of those work, some don't. So again, be careful. What else is happening in the news here? Let's see. It's breaking news.
Well, you see that in Long Beach where somebody pulled up and shot this mother and her daughter.
No.
And they don't know why.
They don't need a reason anymore.
No.
Just stupid shootings for no real reason. It's not about self-defense. It's not about anything other than pure murder. And that's so sad. So sad. Atlanta police, 17-year-old charged with murder of a 16-year-old high school student, turns himself in at Fulton County Jail. 17-year-old killed a 16-year-old. Why? Why? There's no reason for that. You can't give me a good reason for something like that. Parents need to get a grip on these children. Know what they're doing, be involved with them. It's your job to keep them safe and out of trouble. Yeah, it's tough when they leave your house and going to school or wherever they're supposed to be going. And between your front door and the next front door, you don't know what they're doing out there, but just be careful. Stay on top of it. Keep that relationship open with your children. Because if you don't, somebody else will, and you will have lost them at that point. I'm looking at Delta Airlines at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. The airline has canceled 427 flights and is operating about 1,590 of the nearly 6,000 scheduled flights in the wake of the outage.
I hope it don't mess up my sister because she's coming in Wednesday on Delta.
Maybe by then they'll have it together.
But you're going to have all those flights they got to rebook.
Backed up, yep. Yeah, that happens every now and then. Computer problems, breakdowns. While computers are so important and good to have, they do go bad. I had one to go bad on Friday. I spent most of the weekend in here rebuilding and setting up another computer so that we could be here today and for the rest of the week. One thing I've learned, and it won't happen again because I'm going to have two machines that are mirroring each other. So if one goes down, the other one picks up and starts running. So I won't spend a whole weekend sitting here sweating it out, rebuilding.
Did you see that guy in the Olympics where I don't know, was he vaulting and his whole knee turned around? Oh, it was horrible.
Pole vaulting?
I'm not sure what he was doing. I just seen it, and it was like it just turned all the way around.
Ouch.
It broke.
Ouch. That hurts. That is not good. 70-year-old man trampled to death by elephants in Nigeria.
Wow, they must have flattened him.
Can you imagine?
Well, I doubt if he felt any pain.
That first step after that is probably pretty much lights out. Poor thing, 70 years old. I'm looking at some of the breaking news headlines here. FCC, AT&T to pay $7.75 million to settle for allowing scam directory assistants. Directory assistant calls. I guess they were scamming, charging people too much. $7.75 million in paybacks. Settlement. What's crazy about those kind of lawsuits? While the $7.75 million sounds like a lot of money, you might, as an individual, you might get $3, $6, whatever it is, But collectively, that's why these numbers are pretty good size, because so many people were affected by it. But at the end of the day, you're getting pennies out of these type of lawsuits, class action suits, I guess you call it. But it's good that they have to pay it because maybe they'll keep them honest and not do it again. That's the real bottom line. One of the things that I'm just saddened by too, and I hate to talk about depressing news, but we can't ignore it. The shootings in Chicago. And Chicago is very, very close and dear to my heart city because I spent a lot of time there in radio. And two of my children were born in the Chicagoland area. And I don't understand why we can't stop these killings. I mean, on a weekly basis, anywhere from, 50 to 100 shootings a week. Not all of these people that are shot are killed, but it doesn't matter. It just shouldn't happen. Now, people say, well, the police are not doing a good enough job. And then when the cops shoot somebody, they say, well, they shouldn't have shot them. And I think that varies on a case-by-case basis. You can't just use a blanket statement like that. But what can we do as an individual, as a community, to get these things to just stop? Whether it's in Chicago or Detroit or D.C., Atlanta, it doesn't matter. But, when Chicago now has a nickname of Chirac, that's significant. And many of these lives are black people. And I say Black Lives Matters no matter who is perpetrating the crime, whether we're doing it to ourselves or someone else doing it to you. We need to take some pride in life. Respect your own life and others. We really, really, really just need to do that. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. It seems to me that's the core. You need to start there and say, hey, you know what? I like living. And I'm going to respect my own life, myself. I'm going to respect the fact that I want to live, so I don't want to take anyone else's life. How do we reach those people, Carol? You think it's possible we can reach the people that are perpetrating these shootings? Is there any way that we can get them to understand what they're doing is just not good?
You mean killing each other?
Yeah.
No.
You think it's hopeless?
Well, when the cops try to help and they kill somebody, everybody gets mad.
I don't think it's as simple as that. I think that's part of the problem.
I think it's a big part. It's always been a big part of it. I've seen things happen out here where somebody kills somebody, a gangster, and then when they go after that person, everybody in that neighborhood gets mad. So,
So you think the solution is just let the cops do what they got to do, go into these neighborhoods and just start blowing folks away?
No.
Well, what is the solution?
I don't know. It's like their own private war.
Yeah.
It's out of control.
It is. And that's what I'm afraid of, that it is out of control and we can't pull it back in. At the same time, I like to think that we're intelligent people and that there's got to be some kind of way that we can resolve this issue. I don't think the preachers have a grip on it, because if these guys that are perpetrating these crimes don't go to church, then what good is that? The community leaders, the aldermen and council members, the mayor and other leaders or officials in the area, they don't seem to have any control over it. The mothers and fathers don't seem to have any control over these kids that are out there doing it. I saw, a month or two ago, whenever it was, a couple of gang members there in the heads of gangs in Chicago called for a truce, and the next day there were 60 people shot. So were these gangs even involved in the problem anyway? I think they're perpetrating. Because if, in fact, these two gangs, and it's more than two gangs in Chicago, were involved, then if the killing and shootings kept going, then obviously they had no control over their members, which is kind of ironic. So you got these two guys coming on TV being interviewed saying that they're the head of these gangs. Why weren't they arrested? You know who they are now. And like the cops didn't know who they were in the beginning. So it seems to me the whole system is corrupt, and we're not paying attention and doing the right thing to curtail these shootings. And I know my buddy Charles Butler is hardcore on these guys. He thinks the cops will just go in and into the neighborhood and just blow people away. I don't think that's the real solution because I think
Well, if it's the gangbangers, I have to agree with them.
but all that's going to do is to turn the community against the cops.
Well, that's what I said to you earlier.
Yeah.
When they do go in and do something,
Yeah.
everybody gets mad. So how do you help them?
I don't know, but something's got to be done. Something has to change.
Did you see where this man died? But he had a wife and a girlfriend. I guess he lived with both of them. And they both put an obituary in when he died.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
Were
They said it appeared directly under the first saying he's divided by a son from a... So they both must have had his children.
Hmm.
That's a trip, huh?
Yeah, that is a trip.
I remember I used to date a guy, and he told me he was divorced. So I was dating him.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I get a call when he's laying next to me. And it's this woman. And she said his name. And I thought, well, what's this? But I pretended like I didn't know who she was talking. And then she told me who she was and what she done, and I knew she wasn't lying.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, was I mad?
So he lied to you and told you he was divorced, but he wasn't.
No.
Wow. Oh.
So he was
that's
playing
crazy.
two of us.
Yeah.
But he didn't get to play me anymore. It was out. Get out of my house
Kicked him
now.
out.
You know, if a woman or a man wants to date somebody married, then you should have that choice to decide that yourself.
Donald Trump has laid out a plan to switch U.S. over to 3 income tax brackets, 12%, 25, and 33. Okay, in line with the House Representatives, House Republicans, rather. You know, 12, 25, and 33, based on what income brackets? I'd like to see more detail on that. So he's trying to come into the fold and be in the liking, I guess, or in sync with the Republican Party, which he has no choice but to do. Because he's not that smart to come up with anything on his own anyway. So all that means is status quo, business as usual, nothing will change. And if 12, 25, and 33 was a good idea, why haven't they passed it? They got control. Yeah, the president could veto it, but then they could always come back and modify it and get something passed that will be in the best interest of the people. And see, and that's really the key. Carol, would you agree that the politicians don't seem to give a damn about us and what we think and what we need, what we want?
Well, that's why we're all trying to change things.
Yeah.
Because they don't.
What do you say to the people that don't believe in the system at all, that they think that no matter who the president is, nothing will change?
Well, I think Obama was a great president. I don't care what anybody says. He was to me.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why we have our own opinion. I don't know. I think the system works to a degree, but like I said, when it comes to crime, how do you fight it if they do something and then people want to claim they murdered somebody or they did this or that? How do you fight them? What do you decide?
I think you're right, but I think what we have to do is we have to be a part of the system and bring about the change. We have to identify good people and support them when they come up for election or re-election. And I think we have to gauge each individual, on a one-on-one basis. Oh, I got to tell you, I downloaded this app, and let me see if I can pull it up here. Now, I think I have it on my iPad. It's called something Vote.
I'm getting ready to sing the song again. It's getting hot in here. Did someone shut the air?
No, it should be on.
I don't feel it.
It's not as hot as it was last week.
It's working its
Let me
way.
find my iPad here because I downloaded it on there, I believe. It's called something. What this application does, it tracks your state and federal representatives and tells you what bills are up for that they have voted on, and you can then vote on. Oh, here it is. Vote Spotter, and I'll show you if I can get it to.
What does that mean?
What it does is it tracks all of the bills, both on the state and federal level, of your congressional representatives. So here in California, Burke and Allen are state representatives in the area where I live, and Congressman Barbara Boxer, Dianne Feinstein, Maxine Waters are the representatives in the area where I live, right? So I can go to any one of those and see what bills they have voted on, and then it gives me an opportunity to vote with them or against them. So if Barbara Boxer votes no on a bill, and I think she should have said yes, then I can click yes, and apparently this information goes back to that senator or House of Representative and lets them know how me, John Q. Public, who may or may not have voted for her, to give them an idea of how I feel about that bill and whether or not I'm in line with them. So it's kind of after the fact. I'd like to be able to send my opinion before she votes, or he, to let them know what I'm thinking. Because if she's not in sync with the people who voted her in, then bingo. But this is a good start. It's called Vote Spotter, Spotter. So go to your app store. I think they have it for both the iPhone as well as the Android. I put it on my iPad here. And at least you know what's being voted on. Then you can agree or disagree with that vote by clicking on the yes or no. Let's see if we can get it on the screen. There you go. On that vote. And there's a Dianne Feinstein I'm showing. And the bill is a U.S. bill. Should U.S. defend the Baltic state from Russian aggression? So how does she vote on that? Let's see here. Maybe it does do it before the vote. Let's see. So I can say yes or no, and this information apparently goes to Dianne Feinstein in this particular example to let them know what I think. And then you can also link it to your Facebook, Twitter, or your instant messenger or text message or your email. So you could send this information out to people that are following you on Facebook or Twitter, or text message, the SMS, or email. I like this. I really like this. I think this is how we can be more informed about our state and federal representatives are representing us. And if you disagree with her or him, then you can send that message back to him. And then you can let the world know how you feel on that particular Senate bill or House bill or whatever it is. So check that out. Vote Spotter, Spotter. Download it to your phone or iPad or Android pad, and keep track of what your representatives are doing on your behalf. If you disagree, tell them, no, not happy with that vote. You didn't vote in my best interest. So that's a way, Carol, I think we can kind of hold them accountable, let them know that we agree or disagree before we vote them out or vote them back in. So that kind of engagement, I think, is kind of cool. I get excited about stuff like that.
I'm trying to find you a picture of that guy because it's really morbid.
Which guy is this now?
The one, look at his leg.
Oh, in the Olympics?
That'll blow your mind.
Oh, damn. His leg is like twisted the other way. Yeah, he broke that real good.
Yeah, but you want to hear the best yet? When the paramedics were carrying him on the thing, they dropped it.
They dropped him?
They dropped the thing or something. It turned over.
Oh, no.
Look at his leg.
That's crazy.
I'm trying to think what he was doing. That's sad, though. He worked all these
Let me have your
years.
phone. Let me see if I can put that on the camera. You still got it on there?
Yeah, he was a gymnast.
Oh, boy. He was flipping or doing something and came down wrong.
I don't know if it's the bolting. Look
if I
at
can
his
get that.
leg. It just snapped. It's totally just turned.
Wow.
But I was reading where the paramedics dropped him or something when he was on the stretcher. He fell off. Something
Wow.
they did. I thought, great, like he needed that to happen.
Yeah. Well, hopefully by then they had him doped up where he couldn't feel it. But dang. Yeah, that's a hell of a
Work
break.
all these years to do this.
Mm-hmm. That's like a shin break.
It looks like a knee turnaround.
Yeah, well, probably, but it looks like the middle of his shin just snapped. It's almost protruding through his skin. Ooh.
Oh, it's terrible.
Ouch. Yeah, I guess that's why I wasn't a gymnast. That's crazy. Wow. Well, I feel for him. Where was he from? What country?
France, I believe.
France?
The Olympics are great.
Yeah, maybe I'll get some time to check it out before it's over. Maybe tonight, late tonight, I might be able to check out some of the replays or something.
I mean, it's unbelievable what his leg did.
Yeah, it is. But that's probably a common break for a gymnast. You know, come down on at the wrong angle, snap.
Well, they must have straightened it out. Is this it here? They must have laid it on something after when they're putting them on the stretcher. Because they
Yeah.
probably put a splint, but they would have had to turn that baby around
Oh, my
unless
goodness.
the
Yeah.
bone. Well, if you cut a chicken and you're breaking it to
Yeah.
cook, it'll hang the joint.
Yep. Wow. Well, I feel for him. That was a hell of a break.
He must
Crazy.
have been Muslim.
Yeah.
He's from France,
France?
yeah.
Hmm. Well, sorry about that one, partner. You came down the wrong way on that one. So your gymnast days are probably over for quite a
No,
while before that bone.
Yeah, he says he's going to train again.
Yeah. Well, it's going to take a while for that bone to heal, though. That's almost a complete snap right there in the shin. Probably what would have been worse is a joint. If a joint was snapped, that might have been worse. But
It looked like it might have been a joint, though, the way it was hanging, because if you go to cut up your own chicken and it's whole, you break the joint.
yeah, but look at it real close. You can see it's a shin. It's a shin break. I mean, you see the knee above it. So
Yeah,
I'm
but
sure
it's
he's got
all
some knee.
turned around.
Yeah, it's probably a knee injury in there as well, but that's definitely a shin break. That's cruel. Just to see that gives you the shivers. Unbelievable. But you know that's kind of one of the hazards, if you will, in the whole athletic world. Things like that do happen. You know, a break, a fracture, or twisted ankle. It can happen, and you know, and that's really bad when it happens at the Olympics. You know, you worked all this time, years, months, training, getting everything prepared, and you get out there, and bingo,
It's all over.
yeah, that quick. One time, one flip the wrong way can cause you a bad day. Bad day.
Wonder what's happening with Spy Boy. Is it Spy Boy?
Yeah, we haven't heard from him in a while.
Well, he was sick the last time he called in. I hope he's okay.
Yeah. I don't think I have a phone number on him. Otherwise, I'd call him and check on him. See how he's doing. Spy Boy, if you're out there listening today, give us a call. Make sure, let us know you're okay. If you're okay, just call and say, hey, I'm okay, and then you can hang up. Because I'm not sure I want to hear your bovine. Your craziness. But we want to make sure you're
remember
okay.
he said he found out he had Parkinson's.
Yeah. Maybe he's struggling with that right now. Could be. something like that.
I think Trump's staying a little quiet right now, huh?
Trump?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, he's probably licking his wounds from series of just crazy off-the-wall comments. It's best to keep a low profile and go out there and stick to the script, but I don't think he has it in him. I still don't believe that Donald Trump really expected to get this far. I think that he thought he would get bounced out during the primary, but now he is the nominee for the Republican Party, and not getting the full support of everyone who is in the party. It's got to be a concern, and now he's got to fight if he truly, truly wants to win. However, with all the negative press that he's gone through to get to where he is, I just find it almost impossible for him
Well,
to win.
I think he's a little mentally deranged.
I think he is too. Something's up.
Because now, isn't he tripping with the Philippines or somebody? He feels they shouldn't be allowed in the country.
He's going to piss off another group of people. Why don't you just do a blanket statement? Hey, Donald, just say, hey, look, I hate everybody. I don't want nobody to do well but me. Just, come on, break it. Be honest. I mean, you basically have already said that. I heard it. Maybe a lot of other people didn't hear it. But it's all about Donald. It ain't about Carol or Lee or Bill or Joe, the average person. It's all about him. Plain and simple. Ain't no way around that one.
It's really, I was reading this story about this older couple in Rome, and people heard him crying really loud. And they called the police. They came, and they were lonely. They were crying because they sit and watch TV. I see this a lot with kids. They get grown, and they don't come over like they used to. They don't realize that you should at least spend a Sunday with your parents or a day off. Don't just come when you want something. But I see that, and I hear that a lot with a lot of my friends.
Yeah. But you know what that comes from? Parents allowing that to happen. Because they wouldn't do it if they didn't think they could get away with it.
Well, they do. When they become grown, what can you do?
Well, you should have nipped it in the bud when they were 5 and
But
6.
you didn't have that problem when they were 5.
Well, you did.
I didn't.
You just didn't know it.
No, I never had no problems when my kids were 5. My kids were...
You didn't have any problems at all?
No, well, I had the normal problems people have, but not where they ignored me. I see it a lot. Do your kids see you all the time? Do they fly out here?
No.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's
they're
like...
too busy. They're doing their own thing. And I'm cool with that.
Well, I can see people, but I was reading this story and I thought it was kind of sad because I see that a lot where I live. There's an older lady, and within a year, I've seen Alzheimer's setting in or something.
Mm-hmm.
I keep finding her in the garage, and I have to get her up to her place. The first time I got her, she took me to the wrong door, and I'm using the key. I could have got shot or something.
Yeah.
But I noticed her daughter went away on a vacation and left this woman. But to me, you're taking my safety and my family. My cats are my family right now. Because that woman could all of a sudden decide one day, because they do this, where she comes back and she's cooking and then forgets. She goes back. And people cause fires. And
that's true.
I think at that time, that's like leaving a 2-year-old alone. You can't leave people with Alzheimer's alone because you're jeopardizing their life, but you're also jeopardizing other people's lives.
That's true.
Because you wouldn't leave a 2-year-old alone, but this girl went away for a week, I think, on a vacation. And I wasn't the only one that found her. Another lady found her, and she didn't get out of the elevator. She was going up and down because she didn't know where to get off. So, and this woman... The woman that found her is a big person at UCLA, and she said she's got Alzheimer's or something. So it's kind of, people should really, if you have older parents or that, even if they don't have that, you should really kind of worry about things like that because your memory does get shorter. Even if it's not dementia or that, you forget things easy.
What'd you say?
Yeah, see, he just forgot what I said. I don't even remember what I just said.
No, but you're right. But here's the thing.
No, I know I'm right, and it
dog-
bothers me. I feel like it's elder abuse because that person took care of you your whole life.
Right.
So
That's
where
true.
the hell are you now?
Yeah, being selfish.
At least leave someone there with the person.
Listen, the daughter was okay in going on vacation because I'm sure she needs a break too if she's the main caretaker for her mom.
No, she works, but the thing is, get
Yeah.
someone in there to be with her and let
That's
her
my
feel
point.
like it's not somebody babysitting her.
Yeah.
Make her
Well,
feel
whatever-
like it's
whatever.
a friend that just wants to come over. Because I notice they'll fight that. They'll go in
Some
and
do.
out with that. They're
Yeah.
like, she told me, she goes, I don't want nobody. I found her again the other day, and she was going to the garage to go to the mailbox. And I said, the mailbox isn't down here.
Well, see, when you go on vacation, you've got a elderly parent that has some problems. You got to make sure there's somebody there to take care of that. So it's okay to go on vacation, but you can't just say,
Oh, no,
I'm
I
walking away
wasn't saying
from
the
it.
daughter or anybody shouldn't. I'm just
Yeah.
saying as people get
Yeah.
older,
But that's the
you
solution.
have to recognize that everything in life goes back in a circle. I think it's just one big circle. If you watch things, it's like you'll see something maybe they're wearing now that somebody wore 50 years ago, but they think they created it.
Yep.
Designers only go back in history and look. It's like a photographer. I even tell my son this sometimes. Go look at what somebody did years ago and bring an up-to-date version of that
Yeah,
shoot because
That's right.
it works for people.
Yeah, fashions and trends, they do
Yeah,
repeat.
so it's the same thing as the elderly. As they get older, they
Yeah,
become
you
more
revert back to-
childlike.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can't sit and get mad at them for little things they might do.
Yeah.
You can talk to them a little bit about it, but I get worried with her that she's going to start a fire. You know, I worry about her getting hurt or she's going to fall
Sure.
down in the house. And
Yeah, she could hurt
nobody
herself
knows
or
she's in
someone
there
else.
hurt. But
That's right.
I mean, the daughter's trying to get a caregiver, but they have these rules and that. You can't own nothing. They won't pay for this. And it's like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's sad. But
And you
those are
put
the
them
things
in
you
an
have to
old
deal with.
folks' home.
No.
You don't know how they're going to be treated. I had a roommate that worked in one, and I would never want to be put in an old folks' home that she worked in. They would steal the people's jewelry. They would get mad when they maybe have a number 2 in the bed, so they'd put them in ice cold water under the shower. And these people think this is funny, and you can't tell me it's changed because I believe they still do this in these homes. And
Well, they do.
they take their medicine if there's somebody that likes pain pills. So I think people, when you put them somewhere, you
Well-
got to really pay attention to where you're putting them. Maybe do some assisted living thing where there's people in there that aren't off that bad. But I'm telling you, I used to see what she would do. They would steal their jewelry, and to this day, she's running these places now. And I thought, now she's running these places, so she must be making bigger money now or doing something because I thought it was horrible. And
It is
it's
horrible.
it's like a friend of mine's a plastic surgeon. He did some surgery the other day on older people. I said, why would somebody really old want? He said, oh, I do people that are in old folks' homes. They don't get them up out of those beds. And one of them was overweight. And she had a bed sore, but it was wide open. And he had to do surgery twice now to help heal that. But a lot of people that work in these places just do it because it's a job and money, not because their
Yeah.
heart's in it.
Yeah.
I think if your heart's not into a job, don't do it.
I agree with you. Yeah, if they don't care for the patients, especially with people with the bed sores, because they're not turning them. They're not keeping the beds clean and
Well, you have to
fresh
get
and-
them up. And when I
Absolutely.
was in the hospital, because like I
Absolutely.
told you, I have ear problems, and I was in serious condition for a minute, and they put me in a room with an older woman when they took me out of IC, and she would sit there and cry in pain. They would come in, and they would throw her up on a bedpan. Now, this woman had a broken hip. And it goes back to what I was saying. She was in her house, but nobody checked on her.
Yeah.
She had fallen. So they couldn't do surgery because they had to get all the swelling down before they could do anything. But I finally got mad because she would scream. I mean, picture having a broken hip and somebody's just slamming you on a bedpan. I got mad, and I told them, "You put a diaper on her. You put a Depend on her." I go, "I'm going to report this to the hospital if you do this again to this woman. You put a Depend on her." Well, one day, you can't give an older person too much morphine because they can just come out of they just go out of it.
Right.
They become kind of insane at the time. Well, they had given her too much or something. Sometimes people take charge themselves. They're not the doctor that it's their patient.
Yeah.
Because this happened to my daughter. And all of a sudden she sits up, she tears everything off of her. And she looks over at me, she goes, "Who the hell are you? What are you doing in my..." And she's hollering for her dog. And the doctor, her doctor explained to me that somebody gave her too much pain medicine that he didn't order. But she had lost her mind for a minute.
Wow.
But I felt so bad for that older lady because I never seen anybody visit her.
Well, see, that's a problem.
And she had family.
When you have family members in a nursing home.
This
or whatever
wasn't
they're
a
called.
nursing home. I was in the hospital.
Yeah, but in particular in the nursing home, the families that don't go to check on their loved ones, those loved ones are generally not treated well. And when my mom was in the nursing home, I went there every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. And I found that when the families that come around, their loved ones get treated properly, or at least better than those that are just, people, the families put them in there, they don't come but once a year, birthday or maybe Christmas or Thanksgiving. And otherwise, they're just left there alone. So what do you think is going to happen to them? As my old grandparents used to say, "Son, a squeaky wheel gets the oil." So when you go to visit your loved ones in a nursing home, and you ask questions to the nurses and the doctors and what have you that are there, the caretakers, then that makes you keep them in check. Okay? Hold them accountable. Ask questions. When was the last time she, was bathed, and, the different things. I found...
They don't even clean the rooms now.
I know. And that's another thing. Here's my first litmus test for a good nursing home. When you go to the front door and you smell urine, turn around and walk away.
No, even in hospitals, they don't come in and clean the rooms.
Well, that's
like
true.
They used to come in and mop. That's why so many people get bacteria.
Yeah.
And I've seen this at numerous hospitals.
And doctors and nurses coming in and don't use rubber gloves.
No, or somebody
They don't-
don't write something on the chart they did. Like, you don't put a breathing treatment on somebody that's had brain surgery, or they're there for something else that relates to the head or to the lungs, or something that could hurt them, because it causes brain bleeds.
Sure.
Because they did that to my daughter, and I don't know. Did he not look at the chart and see? They must not have written it down. They just took it for granted because she's laid up in bed. We got to do this, clear out her lungs so she don't get pneumonia. But you should have paid attention, because on her first brain bleed after her brain surgery, she was screaming and crying. She was in pain, but they didn't want to believe she was in pain.
Yeah.
So the doctor he couldn't figure out what's wrong. Well, after the second surgery, the brain, when they had to repair the brain bleed, which most doctors wouldn't even did it. They let them just die. She was at it again, and I looked at the doctor. I said, "Well, maybe you need to give her that breathing treatment they've been giving her." He said, "What?"
Yeah.
I said, "The breathing treatment. You didn't see it on the charts?" This guy that goes around, I guess it's a special person, they do breathing treatment. He shouldn't have did that. It caused her to have 2. Other doctors we went to after said they wouldn't have did it. They don't even know how she survived it.
Wow.
But she said one night she woke up and there was a lady telling her something, "You're going to be okay." But there wasn't a lady. It was the spirit telling her this.
Yeah.
And she was very lucky. She was very strong. I mean, 14 days you have digging in your brain, inside your head 3 times. So, it was very frightening for her, because then they had to send her home because she started to get meningitis, but a bacteria went into her, and I flipped out. I went downstairs and I said, "I've never seen you clean this room even once. You don't scrub the toilets. You don't do anything. And then you wonder why people get bacteria.
This is the hospital?
Yes. And it was the part where everybody's had surgery. I didn't see gloves either going on people. A few nurses put them on, and I couldn't understand that because it's like they finally sent her home and they used, what's the thing with the needle that goes in you that feed the intravenous? Yeah, they had to come to her house and do it.
Right.
They didn't want to leave her at the hospital because she was going to get worse.
Yeah, that's a known problem with.
But then the
many
worst thing I
hospitals.
warn people is I went looking for these people that are nurses to a degree where they could come in and they take care of the person. So I called this one place. I should have investigated further. She didn't tell me at the time they wouldn't feed her. They wouldn't do anything but watch TV. And to this day, I get angry about it. I'm tempted to turn this place in that did this. Because she didn't tell me this till later, because I ended up getting 2 different ones. I let one go and brought another one in. And she said she was afraid of them. It became a point where she was scared to say something to them.
Yeah. That's a real problem. So it goes back.
I think our government, and then I'll let you talk. I think our government needs to get more involved with these people that claim to be caregivers.
Yeah.
And there should be some
Stricter
certain
guidelines.
type of, yes, thank you. You
Some
took the
checks and
word right out of
balances.
my mouth. Now I'm
You
going to
got
let
to.
you
You
say
got
what you
to.
were saying.
I really didn't have anything to say. I was just adding to what you were saying.
Yeah.
Those type of services you really have to stay on top of and do your due diligence, ask tough questions up front before you hire them, and know exactly what services they're going to provide, and hold them accountable. And say, hey, look, you said you're going to do this and you're not. And make them do it. That's what they're being paid to do. So I think that, again, going back to, if there are family members, you have to engage and be involved with the process, and otherwise you don't know what's going on. There are a lot of lazy people, and then especially these hospitals, they make mistakes all the time. They don't want to admit it. It's like my son, I mentioned it before. He went in to have neck surgery to fuse some discs, C6, C7, and a few days before the surgery, they gave him a blood thinner. And they shouldn't have done that. Who gives anybody a blood thinner?
Yeah, because they take you off of them before surgery.
Yeah. And he had bruising on his arms. He's 27 years old, and he was looking like an old man with the bruises from.
They could have did way more than that to him.
Yeah, and he still got some repercussions, some issues from that surgery.
Now, when you were there, were they cleaning his room?
They were doing a pretty good job with that. I didn't see a major problem with that, but I was encouraging him to get the hell out of there sooner rather than later, because the longer you stay in a hospital, you start getting a week, 10 days, then you getting into that danger zone.
Yeah, and hospitals didn't used to allow kids under 16 in a hospital because kids do carry germs more than anybody because they're in school all the time.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you see kids sitting in hospitals visiting, and I wouldn't bring my kid anyway because they could catch something. You don't know what's walking through there.
They had to sneak me into the hospital to see my dad when he had a tumor in the brain, and they had to do surgery. They had to bring me up the back way so I could see him. I think I was like 12, almost 13 years old, and because you couldn't go in if you were 12 or under, and that was the only way I could see my dad. And I was only in there for a few minutes, and then they got me
because
out.
the danger of you carrying something.
Mm-hmm.
Hospitals are scary to me. It's like my daughter's got to have surgery again soon, 2 surgeries, and I'm more worried about that than the surgery.
Yeah.
Of the uncleanliness. But there's a hospital on Olympic. I don't know if people from LA listen, but to us there, I know we get a lot of out-of-state people listening to us.
Yeah, there are people in LA listening right now.
Oh, good. There's a hospital on Olympic, which I took her to about, I think it was a month ago. They were very clean. The only thing I didn't like is they took someone in the bathroom and they didn't pick up her stuff. So, but they were cleaner than any other hospital I've seen her in.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's important for you to go visit your loved ones in the hospital.
I was there all the time with her.
And that's what you have to do. So, and then that way you can ask for services that they're not, giving. Say, can you come in and have someone come in and clean? Can we freshen up the bed?
Oh, I've asked them at that one, and they would say, someone, and nobody ever shows up.
Ask again. The squeaky wheel gets the oil.
This one was great though, because they even came in. You know how they'll put something on your legs so your blood's circulating, so you don't get a clot.
Those socks.
But when she was in the other, I didn't see a lot of stuff they didn't do. And they're strictly a surgical hospital where she was the first time.
That's good. So, what did she have a neurologist that was doing the surgery?
She had different surgeons. There was, I think, 3 different surgeons in there because they went through the nose to remove it, the tumor. And there was like 3 or 4 different type doctors.
Okay. Wow. That's good. They finally got it straightened out, but it sounds like she's
well,
still
you
has
know,
some
the
issues,
sad thing is the guy that did it was Filipino, and for some reason, Filipinos are the best at any type of surgery in the head. I've seen things where they can remove things with just. I've studied them, and he died recently, and she's got to have surgery again. So they're looking for a neurologist. I guess there's a doctor at Cedars. I think his name's Dr. Black. He's a man of color. He's world renowned. But see, you got to have, now it's all the different insurances you have. You can't just go anywhere.
Yeah, that's true. That's sad. Because the better doctors, and I've said it over and over again, all doctors are not created equal.
And they're not all a specialist in everything. Like the surgery she's having next, it's a guy that works, but he can't do the other surgery. There's no way. It's a very dangerous surgery.
Yeah. Surgeons specialize in certain areas, and
And that would be a good business for somebody to start, is to find out all your best doctors so people can go through a directory and find out each hospital which is the best doctor that comes through that insurance plan, because they don't really have that.
Really? I would think that
not
would be
the way
available.
they should.
Yeah.
It's like people with a thyroid problem. A lot of people don't know this. When they give you thyroid medicine, there's a thing called foods that block you, and it's foods that we eat that are considered healthy.
Yeah.
But if you're on thyroid medicine, you're not to eat Brussels sprouts. You shouldn't eat kale. You can't eat broccoli. You can't. Soy is really bad for you. When people think soy is good for you, it is not good for you.
Yep.
And they're not telling people this. Milk. You should drink almond milk.
Yeah, I don't drink regular milk.
You have to eat a certain way because the medicine you're on, these particular vegetables, there's 9 of them. I don't know all 9.
Yeah.
But they will literally block that thyroid medicine from working. And I'm surprised doctors don't tell people this, because I've told numerous people lately, because I didn't realize how many people I know that never told me they had a thyroid problem.
Yeah.
And kids are getting thyroid problems because of all the preservatives and that they put in the foods.
And there's 2 types of thyroid problems. One is active and the other one's inactive, if I remember correctly.
Well, you can swing back and forth. I have a friend that she gets the active done and she gets the one that puts weight on her. And she refuses to take medicine. And I can look at her and tell, you need to be on that medicine.
Yeah. There's the one thyroid, I don't know if it's the active or inactive, will make you gain weight, and the other one will take you back the other way and lose weight. So be careful and ask questions of your doctor. Make them explain it and break it down into everyday language so that you can consume that information the right way. Carol, it's another good show. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I won't be here a lot after the 10th because I have a sister coming.
A sister? Oh, okay.
She's coming Wednesday, yeah.
Okay, well,
I'll bring her in
fun.
the one day and then...
Yeah.
But she's only here till Tuesday.
Can I put her on camera?
I don't think she'll let you. My family's
funny. You guys are weird. All right, we'll see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific time. Another edition of the Lee Michaels Show on thepowerofvoices.com. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to share this show with all of your friends in social media. That way we can go viral. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Be peace. Have peace. Be kind to someone today, okay? Say, I love you. Bye-bye.